Do you provide estimates for customers? Well, this video is all about some of the estimation process, and one of the things that I feel like is not necessary that some people will include, and I want to talk about it. When you're providing estimates to customers, there's definitely some things that are important to include that we always discuss. So we talk about, what's the pricing going to be? Obviously, what are some of the different products and services that you offer? What kind of customers do you have in the past? What would be the timeline to get it done? And related to timeline, I want to talk about the question when you ask a customer, like, how soon do you want to get it done by, or when do you want to get it done by? This is something I think you should remove from your estimation process. I don't feel like it's really necessary to include that or to ask them, and I think it kind of throws it off with the customer, because you know what your delivery time is, and 80% of the time when someone's calling you, I feel like they just want to follow whatever delivery time that you have. So it takes us 2 weeks to develop a website, for example, usually 2 to 3 weeks, somewhere in that range. That's what it's going to take to develop it. 10% of the time someone will be like, I need this right away. Can you do it like by tomorrow? And then other 10% of the time, someone might be like, well, I'm just kind of checking out prices and I might not need it for the next 3 to 6 months. So they're going to let you know that. So if there's a constraint to the timeline of when something needs to be done, either the customer needs it right away or the customer needs it in like 6 months or 12 months, they're going to let you know that usually. It's never really a requirement to ask them, when do you need this done by? I think you just tell the customer this is what it usually takes to get these things done and completed, and they'll let you know if they have time constraints around that. And I think that's a better way to go, because what we want to do is we want to make it as easy as possible to get the customer through the process of the quote process. So less questions is better. So if we can narrow it down to less questions, I don't think it's necessary to ask them that specific question. But that's just something that works for me. I always kind of let them know it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks for most projects, sometimes a little bit more for more complicated projects, sometimes a little less for less complicated projects, somewhere in that range. And that's just what our schedule is usually. And I will let them know that, while we're going through the process. That's just some information I offer them. And so I don't ask them about that. I kind of tell them this is how it's going to be for our timeline. And I think that works better. It's smoother and it has a better flow, and it kind of shows you more of your confidence. Asking them questions, you want to kind of narrow it down to just the questions that you actually need to answer. So there should be very few little questions that you need to pepper them with, and not too many. So it's just like how people get overwhelmed if the menu is too big at a restaurant and you kind of want to narrow the choices down. It's the same process. So if a customer has to think less during that process, it makes it easier for them to make a decision. So that's some of my thought process on that. Definitely share your feedback. Do you ask that question to customers? Do you feel like it's necessary or unnecessary? And let's talk a little bit about the estimation process and how to make it as smooth as possible for customers, because I think that helps us close more deals. This is Joe Phil with SkyPoint Studios. I love talking about business, marketing, online. I'm a web developer with SkyPoint Studios. We would love to build your website here in 2024 and make it really pop and really bring in a lot more business to you. If you're interested in that, definitely comment down below. I'd love to help you out, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching.